Okay, so what does it mean to teach in the 21st century? This is a rather very concise but practical video for you to remember as a teacher or instructor in this course, and trying to remind myself often enough when I am doing my study for your learning. So, do you remember what I said? Now, it's 3:25. Based on the practice we have, I'm going to let you go at 3:45. So we have about 24 minutes now. So do you remember what I said at the beginning of the class? And I've said so far a lot of things. Do you have any questions? Now when you come back on first day, I'm going to give each one of you 1 to 2 minutes time to introduce yourself for the whole class. Because you need to know who we are in order to find a suitable learning partner. And for those of you who know one another and you can find your partner easily, fine, just introduce yourself sometime. So, and then on the first day, I'm going to give you, after your introductions, about 10 minutes time to walk around to see if you can locate your ideal partner for your learning in this semester. Because I hope by the end of this week, you can send me an email through the Moodle environment who your partner is, or you can use the forum discussions and tell who your partner is. So your first job is to look for a partner. Alright? So I'm going to give you time now to put things into perspective. That means you can ask questions. If you do not have any specific question, you can think and you can see if you can talk to someone next to you. Okay? We're going to walk this through very soon. But basically, I've sold you readings. Submissions means the free learning contract and the details there. Assessment is the scheme of how we're going to evaluate your work. Learning design, I told you a little bit, it's not a lecture-based course. It's not a memorization-based course. It's a course where you're going to discover a lot on your own. You have a lot of freedom to choose your topics. So all the way up a whole class of students going through this course, but your learning path should most likely be different from one another. Okay? Because you choose your own topics. And then if you are not used to the constructive approach that we are going to practice, if you are so much used to lecture-based approach, come back to learn and practice, where we are going to give you a taste of the lecture-based learning for this course, where we have enough PowerPoint, notes, guidelines, and suggested exercise for you, so that you could get yourself up to speed. Blended learning means, beside the contact hours that I mentioned, 2 times a week for 3 hours. With blended learning, which is supported by the Moodle environment, we can give you chances to participate in your learning beyond the classroom wall. So before you come to class, you know what you need to do to get yourself prepared. You know what you need to do during class, and you know what's supposed to be following after class. Online activity, I mentioned it already in the context of showing you the artifacts for the individual learning contract. You need to do note takings online, journals. You need to do discussion forums online. You need to do wikis online. It means writing things together. You also need to write a report. Time management, I mentioned it. Besides the 3 hours in class, I suggest each one of you spend 6 hours out in class per week in this course. How do you spend 6 hours? 1 hour reading, 1 hour writing, 1 hour discussing with your friends, learning partner, and 1 hour doing face-to-face meeting. And also 1 hour for your collaborations. Assessment rubrics means the criteria we use to give you a grade. It's going to be open up, and each one of you knows the criteria we use, so that you know before you submit something, you give yourself a self-assessment of, based on this piece of work, what's the grade I expect. and then you also subject your work to your learning partner, and give him or her the same set of criteria, and see what score you receive. So by the time you know the typical score you receive, and you can easily improve it by pulling up some strength. Classroom participation is very important. In the past semesters, in classroom participation is the easiest practice where you can gain a good portions of the semester score. It's about 20% out of the 100% final score in the semester. And the way to achieve that, to earn that, is you need to get yourself engaged in class. We're going to have classroom time for student sharing. You can come up here, share with your work done the previous week, using an amount of time between 2 minutes to 5 minutes. Okay? Normally, we do not allow you 5 minutes at the very beginning. We give you 2 minutes most. Okay? So anytime you come up here and use the 2 minutes to share with the whole class what you learned, what you get yourself prepared the past week based on the schedule. That particular sharing is counted as one incident of class participations. And towards the end of the semester, we'll look at the number of times you participate in class by doing this sharing, and we give you a score. Normally, we give you 2 points per incident of class participations, and you've done 10 times or more than 10 times, you've got a 20% full score like that. Okay? So it's very worthwhile. It's a lot of my students in the past semester loved it. On one hand, they develop the habit of getting things done each week. On the other hand, as long as they come here and do that 2 minutes to 5 minutes sharing, they organize themselves, and people appreciate this kind of update. And in the context of individual, pair, team, and task force. Okay? And then classroom management, I've just told you some. We're going to have 3 sections of 30 minutes each, and in each section, 2 sections of 50 minutes each. And so, we would like to single out some time for classroom participations, and we want to be concise, not to eat up your attention span. And classroom communication is basically some basic acting. So when your fellow student is standing up right here doing the classroom sharing, all you need to do is to pay attention. And if you are not paying attention by creating noise or pockets of noise there, you're violating the rules of classroom communications. You will have your score deducted. Okay? That means you need to give enough respect to your fellow student who's doing in the sharing. Okay? Pay attention. This is one way to encourage proper practice of classroom participations. Okay, another thing is, of course, when the teacher is talking, you expect to pay attention to it. And when you talk, when I give you a chance to talk, you also need to take the best advantage of that. So essential transferable skills is very important, because normally in the disciplinary courses, we know a lot of things are very important. Because we don't even have time to take care of that, so we ignore them. But in this G course, even though we may not have enough time to take care of that because of the support environment, these are very important skills. You can acquire them by first watching the video to understand the concept, and then the suggestion to practice the skill in class. And of course, review helps you to understand what you are supposed to study, even though you're given so many freedom, or so much freedom to choose a topic. But there is a framework in this course you need to fulfill. And come back to review what you're doing often, and see if you've gone off track. So these are very important items of interest you need to study at home after today's class. Okay? But you do not need to memorize them. Remember, you do not need to memorize them. You need to get yourself informed. Alright? So the semester requires of you to complete 3 learning contracts. And in each learning contract, you have some artifacts to produce. At the end of the 3 learning contracts, you have 1 semester project, which is equivalent to final exam. That is, you need to put together the artifacts produced in the 3 learning contracts do a much better job to polish your personal profile learning evidence and your personal profile learning achievements, so that when you go to look for a job, when you go to look for an internship opportunity, you don't just provide one piece of paper for others to look at. You provide a web link that is your portfolio, so that people can go to your portfolio to look at, if you say you learned this, the evidence to support you learning this directly from here. Okay? Here you have the artifact, you have comments from the teachers, and if you are first year student, you must be affiliated with a specific residential college. And in the residential college, you will be given a Mahara e-portfolio account. And that is a perfect personal space for you to download all the artifacts from the Moodle environment directly to your Mahara account. When you claim to learn something, that is the best evidence of your work to support your achievement. Okay? And so when you go to work or look for a job a couple of years from today, and every day today when you go to look for a job in Hong Kong or Macau too, if you do not have an e-portfolio, people will not consider you. Okay? I'm not kidding. It's very important. No one will just look at a piece of paper and consider you. Okay? Today's world is evidence of learning, evidence of achievement. So don't waste your time. It's your time. It's your work. You need to create them. Okay? All right? So I will give you 10 more minutes. I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to invite you to ask questions. All right? So if you have questions, you can ask. I'll be ready. On the first day, I'm going to give each one of you at least 1 minute to introduce yourself. Come up here just for the microphone. Hello, I am X and X. I'm from Macau. I'm from Faculty of Science and Technology. My major is, the reasons why I choose my major, you can trust me that I'm a good learning partner because I'm a responsible person. So keep me in touch. Okay, example introductions. Okay, you need to do this kind of things in front of your fellow colleagues. All right. So I'm here. So that's okay. Feel free to ask questions. Just need to raise your hand. Okay? This is a theme song for this course, not semester. Have you heard this song?
界有一点复杂。我知道你肯付出，却不懂该如何表达。我知道你不喜欢承认世界的伪装。我知道关于未来，你有自己的想法。天地万物都有存在这世上的意义，没有一个人有放弃的权利。我会牵着你的手，但是路要自己走。面对选择的时候，听听心里宁静的角落。有一天我会放手，因为路要自己走。失去方向的时候，记得抬头仰望清澈的天空。我会牵着你的手，但是路要自己走。面对选择的时候，听听心里宁静的角落。有一天我会放手，因为路要自己走。失去方向的时候，记得抬头仰望清澈的天空。
Okay, I hope you love the songs. Many students in the past semester consider the songs again at the end of the semester. As a teacher, I need to help you go through the stages of learning. But in the meantime, I cannot bring you along all the time. I need to hold you responsible for your own steps. So it's a very good song. Sometime when you got confused, you can look it up, and then I can observe you and then see what can I do for you. Okay? So ask questions. So do you have any questions? Yes, thank you.
How would you want us to call you?
Oh, yes, thank you. Dr. Vat?
Dr. Bat?
Yes, Dr. Vat. It's right here. Okay? I'm affiliated with the Faculty of Science and Technology of the Computer
Yeah, you
Engineering.
can introduce yourself first.
Yes.
While we do it next.
Oh, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm from Macau. I was born here. Okay? I was raised in Macau, but I was educated in the US too. So I returned to teach in Macau for already 20 years. And I love teaching because I love to interact with students. Yeah. And oh yes, my major in undergraduate studies is electrical engineering. My first graduate degree is computer engineering. And my PhD degree is software engineering. And I'm now doing education. Yes. Any other questions?
The 225 meters sharing is based on the last class or
The class participations, right? So the class participation is mainly based on the work we expect to finish in the last week. Okay?
it's from last
Last week, not last class. We count your work week by week.
so it's like once a week the sharing.
Every class, actually, we provide that 15 minutes slot. 15 minutes is not a lot. 2 minutes for each student means 7 student of yours in each
So
class.
it's 2 classes a week.
And yes, 2 classes a week. Sometimes it depends on students' level.
15
Yeah. 7 each class and our 7 the other class, and sometimes we can accommodate 15. But when we increase the amount of time instead of 2 minutes, not many people will join. And then so we consider pair rights or team rights. Then the two pair, the 2 students in the pair must get involved in the presentations, in the sharing, not just one person. If it's a team, which means 4 persons, So we might want to increase to 5 minutes. Okay? For the pair, it could be 3 minutes. Yes. Yes. It's really up to you. It could be done by one individual student. It could be done by one pair of 2 students, one team of 4 students, or even a task force of 8 students. And of course, for a task force, we have to consider at least 5 minutes to 10 minutes. You have to make sure you will have a good amount of time for each one of them. That is your responsibility. You must design the sharing in such a way that each one of the team members or the task force member will get some growth. Right?
Every student.
I expect so. Normally, in each semester, all students will participate. You do not want to lose the 20% of the class participation score, right? So normally, every student will do something throughout the semester.
There will be enough time as well.
Because we actually started out by next week. Okay, I will send out a call for participations, but our Moodle environment is not up yet. So I guess most likely in February. Okay, when our Moodle environment is up by this weekend, so I can start the call for participation, and you respond to the call by registering there, and so you will have a secure sharing start. Okay.
And also, what's the homework for this class?
Well, there is no such thing as homework. As in the learning contract, you see, there's something you're expected to do, okay? And you need to go on your own. You do not need to submit them. You only need to submit during the learning contract submission time, only 3 times throughout the semester. And when you submit, you need to put together those artifacts. So that's why I need you to read the submission link over there, okay? And so you get yourself understood what is required. Okay? You do not need to submit individual items, except 3 times submissions, 1 each at the end of the learning contract. And of course, the last one is the learning material. I will give score only during the 3 and the last submissions. Okay? Well, individual submissions, but most of them are done as a pair, as a team, as a task force. At the end of that, you put together things, and for example, if you wrote the report, each one of you can use the same report as the submission item, right?
So we submit
Separate, yeah. Use the same report. Because the same report has your name, has your pair number, and you're a member of that pair, so you're qualified. I'm going to tell you more about this, don't worry much about it. It's going to be a little bit complicated if I elaborate on that, but don't worry, we're going to work it out. So, any other questions? You need to go because it's already 3:45. You need to walk to another classroom. You need to go. I see you on Thursday. I hope I can see you all on Thursday. So that's it for today's CISG114 Section 1, Web Technology and Light on August the 25th, 2014. Today is Monday, first day of class.